Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for joining me today. I have officially moved, as you can probably tell, looking behind me. Well, maybe not, because I never did any type of like walkthrough of my previous apartment because it wasn't all that exciting. But I've moved. Thank goodness it's done, because I do live on the 4th floor of this building. I wasn't sure if it was the 3rd or the 4th. It is the 4th. As I mentioned in my previous video, there is no elevator, so the moving process was lots of fun. I really can't complain. It wasn't that bad, because last year when I moved to Chicago, it was, I think, July, and it was hot. Like, there was a heat wave the weekend I ended up moving here, so we were sweating like pigs. My younger brother helped me both trips, which was lovely. Very nice of him. But this time the weather wasn't that bad. Like, it was hot and we were sweating by the end, but we weren't like sweating buckets. So, silver lining, there you go. It is done. I don't have any of my artwork up. I don't have some of my shelves up. I don't like have my TV mounted and stuff. So there's still work to do, but the worst is over. I did have a guy who tried to follow me home a few days ago. Well, I don't want to say tried to follow me home. He started to follow me home until I kind of confronted him and asked him, like, what do you want? What do you need? And then he tried to ask for my number, and I said no. I said no, like, I was like, no. Like 5 times I said no real quick. And afterwards I was wondering, I was like, was I a little harsh? Because I said thank you, but no. But I said no pretty forcefully, because sometimes you just have to, because I noticed him in the grocery store, like, giving me weird looks. But then I was like, maybe I'm overthinking it. I ended up leaving. I heard someone behind me kind of following me at like a weird pace. So I just stepped to the side, was like looking at my phone to let them pass. He went a few steps beyond me, and then he stopped too and like turned back to me. Luckily, he did end up like, he didn't push. He did end up just leaving, which is great, because sometimes people will push a lot. And then a few days after that, I was at the Red Line, and there was a guy who was asking every woman on the, like, waiting for the train if they were available to be his girlfriend. So lots of interesting characters around, but there's lots of good things too. Lots of cool trails to walk. Really pretty architecture. I love all the different type of architecture in Chicago. I'm only a few blocks from the water, which is really nice. I love living near the water. And I did end up going this morning to a farmer's market. They have one really close by on Sunday mornings. I wanted to get some honey for tea, because I'm going to be trying to drink, like, make lots of iced tea and keep it in the fridge. So I got some honey, and then I got some like strawberry vanilla jam. I'll show them to you. I know this is like a book channel, but I just wanted to talk about moving and kind of vent a little bit. I got this raw honey in this like glass jar. I love when they come in glass jars. I'm gonna do some like ASMR. No, I'm kidding. I don't have the confidence to do that. Honey works. And then this I'm super excited for. Strawberry vanilla bean jam. That looks so good. So excited to try that one. But that's what I got today. I'm also going to go through this really tiny, like, mini book haul. My neighbors here, I met them, talked to them, very nice. Unfortunately, they're moving in like 2 weeks, so they were having a like sidewalk sale and getting rid of some books. I think they were each like 50 cents or $1, so I did grab a few of those. So let me grab them. The first one I purchased was Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune. I did read his The House in the Cerulean Sea. I really enjoyed that one. I feel like they're just good kind of cozy fantasy reads, short cozy fantasy standalone reads, which I quite like. I'm hoping this one is going to be similar. I think this focuses more on death, which sounds weird, but I guess that can be cozy. I really like this house. That looks like something from like Studio Ghibli. I also got The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin. I don't know. I've heard of this book so many times before, but I don't know what it's about. I was really excited to see that they had Lore Olympus Volume 1. Such pretty colors, really cool artwork, and I love anything based on Greek mythology, any sort of like Greek retelling. And then I found in a free library book, Wayward, which I was very excited to find. I've heard really good things about this one. This seems very much like my type of book. So I do have two more that I've ordered from eBay. One of them is Hail Project Mary, and the other one is Ignorance. Ignorance, I joined a book club like 2 days after I moved to this new location. I own Ignorance. And I thought I brought it with me because isn't Ignorance a translated work? I thought it was a translated work. I brought a lot of my translated work to read. I can't find it anywhere, so I must have packed it up, which is really infuriating because I'm trying not to buy a lot of unnecessary books, and now I know I do have 2 copies of this book. But the Project Hail Mary and Ignorance, the only reason I'm reading them currently is because I did join some book clubs, and that's what they're reading for this month. So I need to get through them pretty quickly because one of the meetings is in like a week and the other meeting is in, I think, 2 weeks. They're still currently in the mail. I think one of them was delivered yesterday, but it was delivered to my old address, so I need to take a hike over there either later today or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow because I think the second book is being delivered there tomorrow. So I'll probably pick them up both at the same time. That would be the smart thing to do. Because I need to read those 2 books pretty quickly, I'm going to probably slow down a little bit on my current read, which is this big chunka book, Under the Dome by Stephen King. I am not quite halfway through this. How many pages are you? 1,072 pages. I think, is this longer than it? I'm not sure. But this is the type of book where it's a Stephen King book in that a lot of it stresses me out, as I'm sure it's meant to. A lot of Stephen King, he doesn't have that, when he writes horror, it's not that like jump out and scare you, there's a monster hiding under your bed horror. It's more of that like creeping, unsettling, you know something bad is gonna happen and half the book is just building up to it. That's what this book is. So I am listening to it partly as an audiobook as I'm working, and I just feel like during a lot of the book, like my heart, like I can feel my blood pressure going up because there are some pretty awful people in the book, like all of Stephen King's books. If you don't know what it's about, it focuses on a small town. I believe it's in Maine. Is it in Maine? Hold on. Is this like oops, don't knock over the jelly. Is this the one book that's not, oh, it doesn't give any sort of description on the inside page. Well, who cares what it is? Where it is. I'm gonna say it's Maine. One day, there's an invisible dome that comes down over the town, sealing the town off from the rest of the world. And before that happens, Stephen King, like he does, gives us kind of a brief overview of a lot of the different characters residing in this town. And he wants you to know just what awful people you're now stuck with and can't get away from. So there's this one character specifically, I think it's like in chapter 1 or 2, whose name is Buddy. Isn't it Buddy? Why am I second guessing that? I think it's Buddy, who, it's not a spoiler because it happens right at the beginning, like murders girls, like 2 girls, like right away, and is really messed up in the head. He gets these really bad headaches and enjoys the smell of like decaying flesh, and yeah, he's not a great guy. There are a few good characters who are trying to do the right thing, trying to kind of instill order, because As of right now, the dome has been covering the town for only a few days, and chaos is already breaking out. People are starting to panic. There was a looting of the grocery store. People were fighting over food, even though there's still plenty of food to go around. People are stealing generators. It's not great. People are not reacting appropriately to the situation. This is the type of horror that I think scares me the most, is how society can so quickly just abandon any sort of order and turn on each other in this kind of like grappling for power and to feel some sort of stability. Just because it's so accurate. It's so accurate to how people are. I mean, you can see when, like, it's not great. There's the town leader who is a real piece of work and is very corrupt. Some of his corruption is coming to light, and he doesn't like that, and he would like to stay in power, and he sees this opportunity pretty much to declare himself as the emergency leader. And we are no longer part of the United States. We're no longer part of this country. Your rules don't apply to us. I'm the leader of this small country, and I'm going to do whatever I want. And specifically the police. It's not great what happened. So it's a small town. There's not a lot of police officers initially. So you would think it makes sense to, okay, we're going to kind of appoint a few deputies, emergency deputies from good upstanding people in the community, people who can keep a level head. Except that's not what they do. They choose these young men who are so the opposite of who you would want to have any position of power over you. It's like if you made the gang from A Clockwork Orange, which I haven't read. I've only seen some portions of the movie, so please forgive me if I'm wrong here. But it's not a great gang, right? It's like it's a chaotic group of men. If you gave them power and guns and said, you're in charge now, that's what's happening. And it's about how some people are purposefully creating chaos and violence in order to kind of further reach new positions of power. There are a few people in town who are fighting against it, but such a large majority of the town are kind of cowed by the mayor. I think he's called the selectman, by his power, and he's had authority for so long that they're just kind of used to him being in charge, and no one really wants to stand up to him. So it's about how these few underdogs, like there's plenty of people who could stand up if they all came together and say, hey, we're not okay with the direction that you're moving this town in. But so many of them are just afraid to do anything that it's about them standing by. It's like that old quote, how the only thing that evil men need to prosper is for like good men to do nothing. But the few good people who are standing up to this man are being kind of railroaded and accused of things they haven't done and arrested and beat, and, you know, just not great things are not happening to them. So that's where I currently am in the book. It's very stressful, but I mean, that's a sign of a good book, is if a good horror, is if it does stress you out. It's certainly doing that to me. So I'm going to still try and make some progress on that, but I do need my main concern to be the other two books. So I will let you guys know once I start reading them what I think of them. The other two books are definitely shorter, so I feel like it's not going to be too difficult to get all three of them read. Hopefully by the end of the month. That's what my goal is. That's a little over 2 weeks. I might be eating my words next time I film because it might be like a month down the road and I'm still trying to finish Under the Dome, but I'm really going to try and get on it, make some progress. So I will talk to you guys next time. Hey guys, it is later in the day. It's only been a few hours, but I am about to head out. It's a beautiful day outside. I'm going to head out to this dog rescue I go to on Sundays. I'm gonna go walk some dogs in the beautiful spring weather. It's not too hot yet. I hope it stays that way. And I'm gonna try to make some progress on this big boy. think I'm just gonna put some headphones on, listen to the audiobook, try to get a few more chapters in at least before I have to hurry up and read these other 2 books and then I lose my place. Oh, well, no, don't kick dirt on the car. Oh my gosh. Favorite part, pee and then scratch. Yep, thank you, Wells, for making a mess. Dog number 2. Look at that face! Look at that face! He is very motivated by, can you guess it? Treats. He wants the treats, all the treats right now. Thank you very much. We've made it 2 blocks and we've quit. Someone has given up. Someone has given up. Someone has quit. It's too hot today, all of 70 degrees. It's too hot. Oh my gosh, I can't do it anymore. An interesting smell has drawn us forward just a few more feet. We've made it from there to here. Are we gonna keep going? Nope, we're gonna keep smelling whatever we're smelling. Okay. What do you smell? This is a very interesting tree. Who knows what the squirrels have done to this tree? Oh, what is that? There's actually something. Huh, weird. Okay, we're gonna go back the way we came. Let's inspect this hole in the ground. Fascinating. And this pole. Can't leave the pole behind. Up, and my shoe and my leg back to the tree. We've stumbled upon a possible fairy ring. Must proceed with caution. He's bravely stepped inside, partaking of a little salad. I don't know what we're doing anymore. He seems to enjoy just sticking his face in there. And possibly the most handsome of the bunch. Look at this big boy. He needs a good old brush. Look at this. Look at this. All right, let's go. And the final dog is Capiche, a young young lab who is determined to yank my arm off at the socket. Capiche, slow down. As a reward, I stopped and got myself a frozen peach margarita that was super delicious. And then I headed home for the day. It is the following day. I'm about to head out to grab the 2 new books that I shipped to the wrong address. I'm just gonna do like a nice hike over there, spend some time by the water. There is a bookstore that I'm gonna be passing by called Armadillo's Pillow. I don't know why I love that name so much. I might stop there, just kind of peruse the shelves a little, probably grab something cold to drink on the way because it is hot out today. But before I head out, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on this behemoth, this big old boy. Where am I? I am here. I don't know how much that tells you, but I am now over halfway done. This book, Stephen King in general, is just like, I tend to have strong emotions about his book. This one, surprisingly, it's not. This one I'm on the fence about, which doesn't happen very often. Again, with his, I typically will love or hate them. This one it's fine. It's going fine. It is very long and it doesn't necessarily feel long. Like some books you'll read them and you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is taking forever. It's going to take me an eternity to finish this. They could have like edited half this stuff out. And I don't feel that way while I'm reading this book, but afterwards, looking back, after reading almost 700 pages, not a lot has happened, really. Not 700 pages worth of stuff happening. Like, I could have read 200 pages of this stuff, what has occurred so far, and it would be the same. And typically that's a negative thing. However, in this case, there's something to be said for kind of taking your time and focusing on these small interactions and kind of following conversations through, not just hitting the main points, like following through them through to the end. They're still under the dome. The dome has not gone away yet. I don't think it's going to be going away until probably like the last chapter or something. If it does at all, who knows? Stephen King endings like to be shocking, which I'm okay with that. It was apparent from the beginning, but it is becoming more and more apparent that the dome is not the main antagonist. Like so many of his books, the kind of big bad isn't always the big bad evil. It's just used to showcase or give the evil in people, the characters in the book, kind of a chance to flourish. It is a very black and white book in terms of good and bad. The good guys are very obviously the good guys, and the bad guys are doing evil, violent, awful things. There's not much room for any sort of subtlety of human nature. There's no one's really an anti-hero. There aren't very many gray characters. It's kind of the opposite of like, when I was thinking about this, it's the opposite of Fredrik Backman. I'm only using this as an example because I've mentioned it way too much lately, but of the, what was it? The Us Against You, The Winners, and Beartown. The Beartown trilogy, where there are people who do really awful things, but Fredrik Backman shows that they're not like this Dark Lord type of thing. Like, he shows how certain characters struggle with it and it works on their conscience. And they'll do things in order to protect others, and they'll kind of try and convince themselves that they're doing the right thing, or it's okay to do something bad with the right goal in mind. None of that in this book. These are just like greedy, power-hungry people who love violence, like psychotic people. There's no shades of gray in this book. And I think it is less interesting because of that. Like, I enjoy a Lord of the Rings type book where it's the same thing. It's like good versus evil, and the lines are very clearly defined. But when we're talking about something in this world, even if it is a sort of like supernatural, especially when we're dealing with horror, I think subtlety is often more powerful. The book definitely does escalate quickly in terms of human behavior, the negatives of human behavior. And as I mentioned before, one thing I do quite like is that the dome isn't kind of the main objective in the book. It's this town of Chester's Mill, I think it's called, that has existed, these people that have lived there for so long. The dome is just giving the excuse for such, like, some of this bad behavior that's been brewing under the surface. It's like it's been given oxygen now to grow and breathe and come out and show itself in really obvious ways that it hadn't before. So that's really interesting. I know the novel also is pretty political, or it's based on a lot of political figures. I think I read somewhere like Dick Cheney and George Bush. I am not educated enough about politics and about their actions to know if it's accurate. Like, the way that the comparison that some of the bad characters in this book hold to those real life figures, I don't know if it's accurate or not, because I'm not into politics and I haven't done any research and I don't plan to. So, but it's fine. I mean, we're moving along. I don't think I'm going to have any issue with finishing this book, but I have a feeling it's just going to be like another 3 star. Just none of the characters are are that captivating. There's a few of them that you're rooting for, but you're mostly rooting for them because they're the only decent characters in this town, this cut off town that is slowly being turned insane by these few figureheads. So obviously the figureheads, you're like, something just happened, and I'm not going to spoil it and say what, but a few of them met their end, and it was just like, yeah, which might not be great, like mentally for me to feel that way, but I was like, I'm okay with this death because they did some really terrible things. But the few good people, you're rooting for them, but I'm really not all that captivated by them emotionally or mentally or anything like that. So I'm just rooting for them because they are the good guys and I want the bad guys to fail. So that's where I am currently. I'll give you guys an update next time, but over halfway. That's good. That's progress. We're getting there. And now I'm going to venture out into the nasty heat.